dogs are more than well cared for pets. They're highly trained guide dogs, and each one is waiting to be matched up with an eagerly waiting blind person.
What do you find? Honest evaluation walk.
Cheryl Blodgett is legally blind from a viral infection. She's come here to Oakville, Ontario to begin a 4-week odyssey. Unhappy with using her cane, Cheryl applied 6 months ago to Canine Vision Canada in hopes of finding a guide dog. Now she's been accepted. It's a big step for her, something that she knows will change her life.
It was a lot to consider when you decide whether you're going to use a cane or a dog. But once I finally made a decision, I couldn't wait to get here. And it's been great so far. This is only my first day, but it's been really exciting.
But will Cheryl be able to find the right dog? One that will be a good match for her personality and her lifestyle. The first candidate is Benson, and Benson seems eager to get the job.
Oh, he's more excited than I am. I thought I was excited. Come here, honey.
Benson's certainly got energy, maybe too much of it, but he's also got a lot of love. For Rob Jones, head trainer at the school, a love of people is one of the things that makes a great guide dog.
They have elastic hearts. They have room enough inside for everybody. But these dogs, if you give them the loving that we've given them, they're going to work just as well for the new client as they are for the trainers. And that's what makes them so great at doing this job.
Okay, it's okay, hon.
But a good guide dog has to be well suited to the person they'll be living with. And Benson's already worn Cheryl out.
Well, I didn't think they'd be that hyper. I thought they might be a little more sedate. Yes. Yeah, he's a bit bigger than the other one, I think, isn't he?
Well, if Benson didn't work out, what about a quieter dog?
Down.
Barley's pretty calm, but he has a mind of his own.
He's up again. He's up again.
Cheryl and her guide dog will be spending a lot of time together. The fit has to be right, or else both the dog and Cheryl will be miserable. And it's just not working out with Barley.
It was very challenging. It was very stressful, only because you're not used to working with the dog. I am really surprised in their personalities. There was a lot of them.
Getting a guide dog had sounded simple to Cheryl. Now she wondered if she'd ever find the right dog, and she needed one. Cheryl's eyesight had been getting worse for a number of years, and then suddenly she could barely see at all. She had become legally blind, and it had happened with terrifying swiftness.
It happened quite quickly, within about a week. So, of course, you can't drive anymore, you can't go to work, you can't watch TV, you can't see faces.
Cheryl's life was altered completely.
The fear has been just crossing the street to get to the variety store, It is a challenge every day of your life. You have to be so aware of what you're doing at all times.
Cheryl had become dependent on others. It was a situation she was determined to change. Getting a guide dog looked like the best solution. So she wasn't going to give up easily. It was time for her luck to change. This is Mackenzie, an 18-month-old Labrador.
Sit down.
Good.
Oh.
It looks like Cheryl is lucky at last. She and Mackenzie are hitting it off. But that doesn't mean that the trainers will pair them up.
Lay down next to you in a couple of seconds.
Really?
The matching process goes not only just with your personality, but also with your lifestyle. If somebody's very, very active, they won't be placed with a very laid-back dog.
Oh, I see.
If you have a very laid-back lifestyle, we're not going to give you a very high-energy dog that wants to go, go, go.
Very good.
Stay.
Mackenzie and Cheryl train for the next 4 days, while the staff at Canine Vision Canada evaluate how well the two of them work together.
I can see his head moving to the right a little bit
Feel him getting out ahead of you? That's beautiful.
Yes, okay.
Perfect.
Everybody go around you, because most of them beside you guys. It's the first time with
Now it's the last day of the evaluation. This afternoon, Sheryl will find out whether she's going to get to be with Mackenzie, and her heart's set on it.
She's really sweet. She has a nice disposition. Yeah. She's not too hyper. She's not too, she does what she's told. I don't know. She's just very lovable. I don't know. You can't describe it. You just bond with them, And she's not overly hyper. Like I'm not really comfortable around a really hyper dog. She just really wants to get in her harness, and when you go to take it off, she doesn't want to take it off. She wants to keep working. So that's a good sign. Take me around all these obstacles. You're not gonna let Mommy walk into anything, are you?
In a matter of just a few days, Mackenzie seems to have attuned herself to Sheryl. A sense of trust is already being built.
Yeah, she's taking the easy route around instead of giving you a lot of space.
These exercises mimic real situations, ones that Mackenzie and Sheryl will have to deal with on the outside.
Just encourage her with your voice. Don't check her with the harness.
With the last exercise over, there's nothing for Sheryl to do except go back to her room and wait. She still doesn't know if she's going to get Mackenzie.
No, kill Greg's eyes.
The trainers compare notes on each person and each dog. Everyone wants the best match possible for both dog and owner.
Right off the bat, he hasn't stopped grinning since he started working with the dog in harness, so which is kind of nice.
Even right up until the very end, they kept saying, well, we gotta discuss it some more, and we're not really sure yet. And I'm like, yeah, right. They're just doing it to drive us nuts. They're just doing it to tease us. I really hope they didn't switch her, but I'll get used to whichever one they give me, but my heart's kind of set on her, so. I keep picturing her walking all over the house, following me around, taking her out in the backyard, walking up and down the neighborhood. That's gonna be nice. It's gonna be really nice. I hear breathing. I think I hear breathing. It's Mackenzie. It's gotta be Mackenzie. She was breathing like that this morning.
Hello, Sheryl. Want to grab a seat in your bed? Have a seat on your bed. Yep. Here comes Mackenzie.
It is Mackenzie! Yay! Come here, honey. Come here. Thank you, Rob.
You're very welcome.
We're gonna be good buddies,
Happy?
aren't we? Oh, very happy.
Good.
Very happy. But it's really bizarre because when I first came up here, before I got here, I thought I wanted a golden lab. I don't know why. I just really wanted a golden one. But when I got Mackenzie yesterday, it didn't matter. We're gonna be buddies, aren't we? We're gonna be around each other 24 hours a day for the next 10 years at least. Maybe 10 if we're lucky.
And now the hard work begins. The very next day, everybody heads downtown to start training in the real world.
Atta girl. Hey, way to go.
When Mackenzie forced Sheryl to stop at a corner until a car she hadn't sensed passed by, she understood what a great help this dog would be for her.
Still hadn't totally trusted Mackenzie at that point, but I had at least 4 or 5 feet between me and the car, and she stopped just like that. And I'll tell you, that really instills a lot of confidence in the dog, and she has my trust from now on. I think it's pretty amazing. No way, wouldn't trade her for anything. I mean, there's a lot of other nice dogs up there as well, but no, I think they did an excellent job matching us up. Excellent.
The world outside is full of distractions, but Mackenzie stays focused.
Yeah, go when you're ready. There you go. Step down one.
That's easier than I thought.
Yeah, it is.
Better than that other mall. We did it with a little dignity this time, didn't we, Mackenzie?
And Sheryl is learning to work together with Mackenzie, negotiating the obstacles that daily life puts in her way. After 4 weeks, it's time for the hardest test of all. Mackenzie and Sheryl will be put down somewhere in the city, a couple of miles from the training center, and they'll have to make their way back.
Don't panic. ask everybody for directions.
Okay.
All right.
You got it.
We'll see you back at the school.
Aren't you following me? You are following me, aren't you?
Yeah, we won't be
The trainers will be watching, but not helping.
Whoa.
Cheryl and Mackenzie have no idea where they are, not even which way to turn.
Mackenzie, left.
Cheryl will have to rely on her own instincts, the kindness of strangers, and help from Mackenzie.
So I cross here, I go up 2 blocks, and I'm on Lakeshore? Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Keep going. That's good, Kenzie. Forward. Forward. That's good. Keep going. Good girl. Come up the curve. I think it's
If they
going
can do this, Cheryl and Mackenzie will have proven that they are really right for each other.
Stay. Forward.
They're doing well, and they both pick up speed as they get closer to their goal.
That's very good pace. On the way home now.
Now that I've worked with Mackenzie for 26 days now, I can walk as fast as I did before when I had 20/20 vision. So that makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. Girl.
Hope you feel good about yourself.
Why?
They've done it. Mackenzie and Cheryl have made it back to the center. They've shown that the magic between a guide dog and a blind person is working for them.
You did great, Cheryl. That was really nice.
Boy, is that ever hot though coming
Yeah,
back. Oh
it is
man,
warm.
poor Mackenzie's like, come on. She was like, oh.
It was a hard month and a lot of work, but this is graduation day. Cheryl and Mackenzie are now officially a team. A month later, Mackenzie has settled right in. All the promise of a new life that Cheryl felt at the very first moment she met Mackenzie has come true.
Oh God, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just a totally different way of life. I mean, before all I could see ahead of me was isolation, you know, not being able to get out and go when I wanted to, or I'd have to wait for somebody. And it just seemed like, my future just seemed sort of like doom and gloom, you know, in isolation, and now it's anything goes. You know, like I wouldn't hesitate to take her anywhere.
There's no doubt that Mackenzie and Cheryl are a perfect match. Mackenzie is now the focus and very center of Cheryl's life.
I wouldn't even hesitate to get on a plane now and fly somewhere, or to get on a train, any kind of public transportation, and go. Just go, go, go. It doesn't intimidate me anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not scared, just because I have so much trust in her. I mean, you gotta have trust in the dog. She's gonna keep me safe. She's gonna do good. Kenzie, right inside. Right inside. He can't help but love her. I mean, look at that face. Look at that face, see? He can't help but love her.
In the quiet English countryside of Gloucestershire, things are not as they look. Here at the Cotswold Water Park, officials make sure that children who get into trouble in the water get immediate help. So they're training young people to be lifeguards. And to help with the new recruits, the park has hired some unusual instructors. They're Newfoundlands, large, gentle dogs who are born swimmers. Newfoundlands love the water and children, so bringing out life preservers and towing children to shore comes naturally. The idea is for the young lifeguards in training to see how the Newfoundlands do it, and then more or less do the same. minus the barking. It just makes the kids feel safer, according to Natalia, one of the young trainees.
You can feel more confident when you've got a dog beside you because you know that if anything happens, they're going to help you.
Most of the park's Newfoundlands take to their duties like a dog to water. But one of them, Bear, who at 2 years is still quite young, hasn't quite gotten into the swim of things. He hasn't figured out what he's supposed to do. Bear's owner, David Pugh, runs the life-saving program.
Some Newfoundlands start off very, very young, take to it instantly. Other dogs take a little longer to do that. And they all like the water. Some you've just got to encourage perhaps a little bit more.
Bear's heart is in the right place. And he does seem to like the water. And it all seems like great fun. But this life-saving thing is just too confusing. There's the water, the lifesaver, the rope, but which part goes where? It shouldn't really be that hard. After all, Bear, like others of his breed, is designed for just this sort of thing. Newfoundlands have heavy, oily coats, large lung capacities, and powerful legs. They even have webbed feet which act like flippers. Everything you'd need to swim in cold water. In fact, since the 1700s in Canada, there are accounts of Newfoundland dogs jumping into frigid waters and rescuing drowning sailors and passengers. But when this Saint Bernard of the Sea, as it was nicknamed, arrived in England, it became a favorite of the wealthy and the famous. Dogs with markings just like Bear are called Landseers, because in the 1800s, the artist Sir Edwin Landseer painted portrait after portrait of dogs that could be Bear's forefathers. They looked just like him, and they had the same sweet temperament towards children. Along with their good nature and swimming abilities, the Newfoundlands have another major quality. They are immensely powerful. In fact, pound for pound, Newfoundlands are said to be the strongest draft animal on Earth. Bear has been studying hard. With the example of the kids and the other dogs, it looks like the concept is finally dawning. He's supposed to go in the water.
Go! Go!
Eureka! That's it. Get in and pull the kids out.
Legs up. Feet up. Good boy.
Now it looks like everybody's going to graduate. The children and Bear. The natural beauty of Canada's Rocky Mountains draws visitors from all over the world. World-famous movie stars, writers, and even the Prince of Wales, who visited in 1919. In the village of Banff, urban life appears to be in perfect balance with the natural world. Trails take visitors into the wilderness of the rugged Rockies. But some tourists are not so keen on the call of the wild. So when the wild comes calling, what do? Elk from surrounding mountains take over the golf course and then the entire town. Park wardens respond with flares. Even warning shots, to absolutely no avail. Then, a brilliant idea. Actually, two of them. One is called Blue, the other Tess. Border collies trained to herd sheep at a nearby Alberta farm. Granted, This is not their usual job, but a herd is a herd. The elk have come into town to escape predators, and now they're faced with 2 dogs who are taking the place of the wolves in the mountains. Tess and Blue are herd dogs who now have the unlikely role of elk predators. Elk are wild and strong, but Tess and Blue's herding abilities inspire respect. They're focused on their mission. And the elk try something else, the role of movable lawn ornaments. These elk may appear majestic and benign, but when they're in town, they're dangerous. Park Warden Dave Norcross has seen some elk charge the townsfolk.
In the last few years, we've typically had 8 people injured in elk encounters. And some of those people have been hospitalized and seriously hurt.
Tess.
It's roundup time in downtown Banff. Tess and Blue put an end to the mayhem brought on by the elk. And they do it without even barking orders.
Steady. Tess. Tess.
And exert a subtle pressure from a distance. It's all very quiet and controlled. From what we've seen so far, we've been very pleased with the way they perform, the way they move out.
Just 1 week of steady work every fall, and it's goodbye to the roaming herd. The elk will have to join the Back to Nature movement, knowing that any attempt to return to town will be blocked by Tess and Blue.